Without an exemption, Wayamba University of Sri Lanka has been a promised land for the brightest and most vibrant undergraduates from throughout the island for many years. The journey began with the establishment of affiliated university college by the University Grants Commission, aimed at expanding university access. In 1991, the Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management took root at the InScience Training Institute in Markandura alongside expansive paddy stores. On the 20th of November 1991, the agriculture section was ceremonially opened, marking a significant milestone with the support from the Northwestern Provincial Council. Mr. A.M. Dimel became the first director, paving the way for a new academic era. That same day, the affiliated University College of Wayamba was officially established. On the 23rd of March 1992, the academic programs began, welcoming 88 eager students into the agriculture section. In 1996, the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences was founded and the Wayamba campus emerged as a vibrant academic hub. Led by the visionary Vidyanidhi, Professor H.P.M. Gunasena, the faculty offered a Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Sciences with diverse specializations. In October 1996, the first dean, Professor Upasena, was appointed. In 1997, saw the first batch of students under Rajarata University, with around 50 students embarking on the academic journey. With a commitment to growth, the faculty expanded its infrastructure between 1997 and 1999, culminating in the establishment of the faculty. Under the leadership of its first dean, Professor S.T.G. Fonseca, new departments emerged, enriching the academic landscape. In 2001, the first agricultural research symposium was held, showcasing student research and fostering collaboration. By 2004, the faculty launched an external degree program in plantation management, transforming lives in the sector. From 2012 to 2017, FAPM expanded its infrastructure, establishing vital centers to support innovation and development. In 2016, the Department of Biosystems Engineering was introduced, further diversifying the faculty's offerings. The Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management, a pillar of academic excellence, offers two renowned degree programs, the BSc in Agriculture and Plantation Management and the Biosystems Technology degree program. For decades, these four-year academic programs have shaped the future of Sri Lanka's agriculture industry. At the heart of the faculty are 5 dynamic departments, each contributing to a rich learning experience. Department of Plantation Management, Department of Horticulture and Landscape Gardening, Department of Agribusiness Management, Department of Biotechnology, Department of Biosystems Engineering. These departments are dedicated to catering smart, logical thinkers. Through hands-on learning and exposure to cutting-edge scientific knowledge, students gain unparalleled experiences in laboratories equipped with the latest technology. Here, future leaders in agriculture and biosystems are developed with a strong emphasis on critical thinking and resource management. Learning environment of the faculty is further enriched by a thriving tea garden, a rubber patch, a modern tea processing unit, and an expert crop yard. These facilities provide students with real-world insights into plantation and biosystems management. of its proudest achievements is Wayamba tea, a product of the faculty that has earned its place as a beloved brand in the local market, delivering consistent quality for over a decade. The mission of the faculty is clear: to empower students with the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values needed to become skilled professionals who will serve the global society. Our innovative education programs are designed to nurture leadership, confidence, and expertise, paving the way for our students to make significant contributions in their fields. Through research and academic excellence, the faculty's influence extends far beyond the classroom. Its contribution fills critical gaps in Sri Lanka's agriculture sector, cementing the role as a superior academic branch within the university system. Beyond the core curriculum, the faculty offers a range of external degrees, diplomas, and certificate courses designed to broaden horizons and specialize in emerging fields. Master of Agri-Enterprise and Technology Management, BSc in Plantation Management, BSc in Food Business and Marketing, Diplomas in Food Business and Marketing, Agriculture and Plantation Management, and Modern Agrotechnology, Advanced Certificate in Plant Tissue Culture. At the Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management, education goes beyond the classroom. Vibrant extracurricular activities and sports provide endless opportunities for students to sharpen their minds, build friendships, and unleash their potential. From sports and cultural activities to leadership opportunities and community service, faculty offers a dynamic environment where students can develop skills, build character, and create lasting memories. Our journey to excellence has been guided by the dedication of past and present staff members. A university should be a place of light, of liberty, and of learning. Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management stands as a beacon of progress, illuminating the future of our nation.
ඔබ රජෙක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. සමහර විට වෛද්‍යවරයෙක්, ගුරුවරයෙක්, නීතිඥයෙක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. නමුත් ඔබෙත් මගෙත් කුසකිනෙනි වන්නේ ඔහුයි. ඔබේ රැකියාව අහසෙ වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් මහසයුර වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. තාක්ෂණය හෝ සංවර්ධනය වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. අපි කවුරු මොනවා කළත් කුසකිනෙනි වන්නේ ඔහුයි. ධනවතෙක් උනත් නොඋනත්, වැඩිහිටියෙක් හෝ ලදරුවෙක් උනත්, ඔබත් මමත් කවුරු උනත් අපේ කුසකිනෙනි වන්නේ ඔහුයි. අහස පොළව ගෙනෙන අභියෝග හමුවේ නොසැලුණු ඔහුට පන්නරය දුන් CIC කෘෂි ව්‍යාපාර වසර 25ක් පුරා ජීවිත අස්වැත්වූ මෙහෙයුම අනාගත පරපුරටත් ඔබ රජෙක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. සමහර විට වෛද්‍යවරයෙක්, ගුරුවරයෙක්, නීතිඥයෙක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. නමුත් ඔබෙත් මගෙත් කුසකිනෙනි වන්නේ ඔහුයි. ඔබේ රැකියාව අහසෙ වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් මහසයුර වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. තාක්ෂණය හෝ සංවර්ධනය වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. අපි කවුරු මොනවා කළත් කුසකිනෙනි වන්නේ ඔහුයි. ධනවතෙක් උනත් නොවනත්, වැඩිහිටියෙක් හෝ ලදරුවෙක් වුණත්, ඔබත් මමත් කවුරු වුණත් අපේ කුසකිනෙනි වන්නේ ඔහුයි. අහස පොළව ගෙනෙන අභියෝග හමුවේ නොසැලුණු ඔහුට පන්නරය දුන් CIC කෘෂි ව්‍යාපාර වසර 25ක් පුරා ජීවිත අස්වැද්දූ මෙහෙයුම අනාගත පරපුරටත්
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and a warm welcome to the inauguration ceremony of the International Conference on Agriculture and Plantation Management InCAPM 2025, which is organized by the Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management, Wayamba University of Sri Lanka, in commemoration of its Silver Jubilee celebration, along with Guizhou University and the Central China Normal University, China, as proud co-host universities. Let us begin this ceremonial event by lighting the traditional oil lamp, a symbol of enlightenment and new beginnings. May I now invite the following dignitaries to grace the lamp lighting ceremony, representing the 3 co-host universities and the keynote speaker of the ceremony. May I now invite Senior Professor Udit Jayasinghe, the Vice Chancellor representing Wayamba University of Sri Lanka, Professor Gefei Hao, representing Guizhou University, China, Professor Xiaoloe Chu, representing Central China Normal University, China, and also our keynote speaker today, Professor Saman Senavira, the Chairman of the National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka. Let us all rise and witness the ceremonial commencement. Thank you, dear sir. Thank you, madam. Dear ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as we now honor our nation with national anthem.
Sri Lanka Mata, Upper Sri Lanka, Namo 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 Mata, Sundara Sivarini, Surani Ati Sobhamana Lanka, Ranya Ganaya Mekamal Valatulu Piri Jaya Bhumi Ranya, Apamata Sapa Siri Seta Sadhana, Jeevanaye Mata, Pili Kanu Mena Apabhakti Puja, Namo Namo Mata, Upper Sri Lanka, Namo 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 Mata, Upave Apavidya, Upamaya Apasatya, Upave Apashanti, Apahada Tula Bhakti,
We now respectfully invite our esteemed guests to take their seats at the head table. May I now invite our chief guest, Senior Professor Udit Jayasinghe, Vice Chancellor of Wayamba University of Sri Lanka, the keynote speaker, Professor Saman Senavira, Chairman of the National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka, Director of China-Sri Lanka Belt and Road International Collaboration on Green Plant Protection, Professor Gefei Hao, Professor Jagat Edirisinghe, the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management, Wayamba University of Sri Lanka, the Conference Chair, Professor Prasanthi Pereira, and the Conference Secretary, Professor Vajira Balasurya. Dear Sir, Madam, we invite you cordially to the head table. To officially open up today's proceedings, I may now invite the chair of the conference, Professor Prasanthi Pereira, to deliver the welcome address. Dear Madam, over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Amanda. Good morning, all of you, distinguished guests, esteemed academics, respected delegates, and ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure to warmly welcome you all, first for our Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management, and for this special event, the International Conference on Agriculture and Plantation Management. Our faculty organized this remarkable event marking a significant milestone of the faculty, the Silver Jubilee of our Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management. Actually, this conference is not merely a celebration of its 25 years, but it is a confirmation of our academic mandate, which is rooted in education, research, and outreach activities. Among these, we all know research stands as the cornerstone. That is the main task we actively engaged in. Through research, we find innovative and practical solutions for the challenges faced in the agriculture sector by the farmers, by the industries, policymakers, and the communities. Indeed, research-led decision-making has the power to build a nation. We all know that. It is the driving force for social and economic transformation. It uplifts the society. The research reforms the policies. It strengthens the economies. So, however, in the absence of this research, it risks economic decline. We all have witnessed the reality in the Sri Lankan context, what has happened recently. So in this context, our conference theme, Think Big in Agriculture for Boosting Bioeconomy. It is not only relevant, but it is urgent and visionary to develop our nation and develop the global economies. So this conference provides a timely and powerful platform to explore the bioeconomy through interdisciplinary research and global collaborations. Our thematic focus embraces a sustainable agriculture, biotechnology, circular economy models, bioenergy, and green innovations, all vital components of the modern agriculture landscape. We are proud to announce that over 240 abstracts was submitted for this conference. From these, 164 high-quality papers or abstracts were selected for publication. These contributions are compiled in our conference proceedings, made possible through tireless efforts of our scientific and editorial committee, to whom we extend our deepest appreciation. Their dedication for the work is immense, and our heartfelt thanks goes to the editorial committee for making the proceedings timely for the conference. The abstracts are presented in, today you will witness, there are 12 parallel sessions, so representing 7 thematic areas. For this great event, this is the layout of the conference. So you will witness 12 parallel sessions under different thematic areas. So for this event, we are deeply honored to have with us today our chief guest, Professor Udit, Senior Professor Udit Jayasinghe, and extend a warm welcome to you, sir. We are honored by the presence of Professor Saman Senavira, the chairman of the National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka. So, joining us as the keynote speaker of this event. I think you all know he is one of the top 2% scientists globally. Dear sir, your presence is an inspiring to all gathered here. My next warm welcome goes to Professor Jeffrey Howe, Director of China-Sri Lanka Belt and Road Joint Laboratory on Tea Ecological Control. So he is the key figure behind the collaboration between the Wayamba University and representing the Chinese University to be with us hand in hand to organize this as the co-hosts. So we are equally privileged to welcome our Dean of the Faculty, Professor Jagat Edrisinghe, whose vision and initiative brought this conference alive. My warm welcome as well to the deans of other faculties whose participation is deeply valued. We are privileged to co-host this event with our esteemed academic partners from 2 Chinese universities, Guizhou University and Central China Normal University. A heartfelt welcome to all the delegates from these 2 universities, together with representing other universities in China. Thank you for joining us this collaborative journey. Our warm welcome goes to the invited team speakers, the chair of the sessions, judging panel members of the technical sessions. While appreciating for accepting our invitation, you all are warmly welcome to the conference. We are pleased to welcome the registrar of our university, all academic staff members, all administrative staff members of our faculty and of our university for this event, whose support is immense. All the institutional heads and all the invited guests, your presence demonstrates the collective commitment to pursuing the boundaries of agricultural science. We are delighted to welcome the presenters. You are the key people for the success of this conference. The presenters who traveled from different countries, from China, India, Pakistan, Korea, Philippines, and Russia, as well as the presenters, those joining us virtually from Uganda. So warm welcome to all the delegates from these countries. My warm welcome also goes to our local presenters representing various institutes across the country. So your dedication to research and development in agriculture is invaluable. Thank you for choosing to share your work in this platform. Finally, I welcome all the students. So here we have our students. I welcome all the students representing different departments and all other delegates who are presenting here. Finally, to each and every one of you here today, thank you for being part of this important event. This conference is yours. Now it's open for you to engage, to learn from, and to contribute to. Together, all of us will think big, act broadly, and work towards building a resilient and sustainable bioeconomy for the future of the country and for the future of the globe. With this, I wish you a productive, inspiring, and memorable conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam, for your warm welcome. And next, our invitation goes to Professor Jagat Edirisinghe, the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management, to address the gathering.
Very good morning to everyone. Professor Udit Jayasinghe, Professor Saman Senavira, Professor Gefe Hao, Professor Prasanthi Pereira, and Professor Vajira Balasurya, and all the invited guests that are present here from across the world and from Sri Lanka, including our own council members that are present here and the deans of other faculties here. So it is a special day for the Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management. Why? Because we had a dream 25 years ago when we started this faculty. We had a dream, and I was not there when the faculty was started. I joined later, but the dream was passed on from our forerunners to us in order to have a wonderful research-oriented, one of the major agricultural faculties, teaching agriculture, researching agriculture, and disseminating agricultural knowledge into the country and to the wide world. So that dream, we followed that dream for past 25 years. Now, today, we are bearing fruits of that dream. So last year, we commemorated our 25 years of existence. We are a very young faculty. We are not 100 years old like some of the other faculties in the country and some of the Chinese universities that are partnering here. But we are with them all the way. So once we have decided, okay, we will have a conference like this 1 year back, and we toiled very hard to make this event a success today. So I think with the leadership of Professor Prasanthi Pereira, whom we have appointed as the chair of this conference, today we have a very beautiful and wonderful conference. I'm sure that this is going to be a wonderful event. So in deciding the conference, we decided to go with the conference theme of a bioeconomy. So we all know bioeconomy is an economic system. We use our biological resources, sustainability to production and conversion or consumption. So being an agricultural faculty, who is best to talk about a sustainable production and conversion of biological resources? I know that this is one of the greatest or the most important agendas of our Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management. So as a faculty, we run with major degree programs. We run an internal degree program of agriculture, BSc Agriculture, like in other agricultural faculties. In addition to that, we are running Bachelor of Biosystems degree program, as well as two external degree programs and several other diploma programs. So although we are very small, although we are very young, I can safely say, I think, we are one of the largest faculties in terms of student population when you gather both internal and external students of this faculty. So we have come very far, although it is 25 years, we have come very far in teaching agriculture and disseminating agricultural knowledge. So I must thank at this moment, as the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management, to the two Chinese universities who has kindly agreed to co-host this event and have this event successfully. So thank you very much. And also I see a lot of foreign delegates, including India, our neighboring India and Pakistan, as well as many other countries mentioned by Professor Prasanthi, and welcome to you all. And we warmly welcome to you to this Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management. So in this important moment, I like to conclude by saying, let's make connections. Let's make connections. That is our main aim. We wanted to become not a Faculty of Agriculture in Sri Lanka, but a Faculty of Agriculture in the world. So we have to mark our name in the world. So let's make connections with all these countries. Today we were able to get 2 co-hosts from China, but next time onwards, we believe we can bring in other countries to co-host this important event. So when we decided that we are going to have a conference in our 25th anniversary, we decided that this is going to be a continuous thing. So this is going to come up in every other year, or in once in 3 years, and then we will next time be stronger with more other countries joining, and we will meet you at the next conference also. So thank you very much for giving me time.
Thank you very much, sir, for your insightful words. And it is now my honor to invite our chief guest, Senior Professor Udit Jayasinghe, the Vice Chancellor of Wayamba University of Sri Lanka, to deliver his address.
Good morning to everybody, including professors in the head table and all others representing here, our academics, former academics, current academics, administrative staff, non-academic staff, and very especially the Chinese delegation, the experience in the role of a national university in Sri Lanka, and then the role of a faculty of agriculture, what they can do in their capacity, and then the presenters and others. Okay. Of course, I can talk to this mic because I am a vice chancellor. If otherwise, what I have done for these conferences, of course, nothing. I didn't have anything to do. It was done by the staff and others attached to my faculty. Therefore, I am happy. What I only did is approve in my capacity as I put in my signature. That was done within 1 minute to 2 minutes because I know the capacity of my faculty. Just ask from the registrar and the bursar. They know the capacity of theirs. They know they are never going into something bad or cannot be done. So I sign. It is only my duty. It is a duty. So if otherwise my contribution is not worth to have a good talk here. But I have to talk because it is my faculty. We are treating all faculties equal, saying so, my faculty is first. If somebody is telling it is not, it's the first big thing he is going to telling. I'm not telling that one. Every time when I want to contribute to a faculty, I contribute to all. But to my faculty, I contribute not the first in priority. So I'm really happy we are working together for the last, say, 20 years. The faculty does not give anything free, as I'm always telling, or to share, or to steal, but they have contributed, academics, students, and everything. The best example is last week. The Prime Minister, Madam, called me and asked, why the Wayamba students, your faculty students are in a bus which was faced with the accident, what they are doing in the night. I talked to registrar and we got all information. By that time I told Madam, they are coming for lectures. We are not giving anything free. They will have to come for lectures. Whether it's a train or a bus, it doesn't matter. They have to come. They are very happy. That means in the Wayamba University, I'm really lucky that they never faced with the bad injuries. They are very lucky. Maybe it is because of Wayamba University, right? They are protected by all others. So that was going to be a good message to the society. The Wayamba University of Sri Lanka students or researchers or staff members never get something by writing exams by his friend or not coming and writing it the next year, but on the right time they will be there. So that means these were happening that way. That's what I am very happy. That's why we are signing things. That's why we are doing everything to run, for which administrative staff members are supporting. Our council, the former council plus this council is 100% supporting because they know we are doing the right thing. So organizing this kind of event, we know it's very tough. It needs hundreds or maybe thousands of signatures, especially dealing with the foreign delegation, foreign money, transfer and everything is a big issue, but deans, heads, and others, they have done a marvelous job without hurting to anybody, in collaboration with all members. When I come to this faculty, I'm always telling Chandana there, Ranavira there, Veerakodi there, then the people like here, we were there. Now we are there, we may be leaving, but today the heads and all other peoples are people who we have recruited, all heads and others. So they learn, we are very happy from us, something that they should do or they should not do. So in that capacity also, I am really happy. That's why we are here to follow with everything. So my contribution in my capacity as a senior professor, is minimum for this conference. I'm happy, but we contributed that way. I'm happy that I put signature, because putting signatures on these days is a dangerous thing. If otherwise, I could have not take your lunch and dinner tonight. I could have been taken it in somewhere. So I didn't sign anything that is bad for the country or anything. So I am happy for that one also. If otherwise, I may not have been here today morning. I'll have to be in some other with a grade 8 pass person, right? I don't want to say, we are from a university, we are from a respected crowd. Saying so, Makandura premises, with the 2 deans and all the staff members, we got the best. The Chinese delegation, all others, and our distinguished guests, they might know that one. We are the only university and the premises which covered nearly 10 billion worth assets in 3 years for any university in Sri Lanka. So which was passed a couple of days ago, and the secretary and all others and the delegation passed, they told, okay, project is finished by April 30th, success is 99.96. 99.96. Out of 13 mega projects, it is the only project finished. And we were given another 1,250. They asked, you do whatever you want, and we know we are doing. So we decided to give it to different faculties for the best. And we asked for something to promote research and the student innovation and culture. Other than, we didn't ask for anything for road development, and because these buildings and others are enough. That's what I want to tell you today, this morning. This is a new one, therefore. Now faculty, after 25 years, we are moving into a second stage, right? එමනේ වෙන්නේ සිංහලෙන් විනාඩියක් කිව්වොත් දැන් අපේ අර දෙවෙනියට යන වර්ණ කාලය ඉවරයි. අවුරුදු 28 හිටනකොට වර්ණ කාලය ඉවරයි. දැන් තමයි ප්‍රඥා කාලයට එන්නේ. ඒ නිසා දැන් ඉතින් ෆැකල්ටියට ප්‍රඥාව එන්න දෙයක් නැහැ, ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. හරි. ඒ නිසා these kind of conferences serving to the nation, serving to the outside, township, I am sure agriculture faculty, livestock fisheries faculty, Makandura, all 4 other faculties will be doing for the betterment of people. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. So we'll be enjoying a great day today, and China's delegation will enjoy it today here and tomorrow maybe up and down here and there in Kandy. See how things are moving. You are in a faculty which is going with a real mission, passion, vocation, and a profession. We can prove it because it was recognized with the faculty, with all pictures from all intelligence services. It is the faculty without a post asking anything, destroying or disturbing academic activities, and all other bad things are not happening. Now it is recognized. So we can ask for anything and we can justify for anybody we want. So thanks for bringing Wayamba University for that level. Out of that, Makandur premises into such a good, great level, and our faculty, not my faculty, our faculty into such a level that all staff members are enjoying their academic life, administrative staff are enjoying their academic life, and students we can see, they are beyond the students. We know such a great student body is here. They are helping to everything. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your inspiring words, and we are so honored to have you with us today to grace in this ceremony. And with that, Okay, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we now move on to the next segment of the conference proceedings. So this is the launching of the conference proceedings, and with that, may I now invite Professor Vajira Balasuriya, the Secretary of the conference, to present the conference proceedings to our distinguished guests at the head table. Dear ladies and gentlemen, there will be oral and poster presentations today, as you all know now, and both these abstracts will be included in these conference proceedings. And this includes graphical abstracts under the following thematic areas: high-tech agricultural production, varietal innovation and seeds, innovative food processing techniques, microorganisms in industry and environment, aesthetic agriculture and environment, animal production systems and industry trends, and agricultural and resource economics. Thank you very much, Madam. Moving on to our next item. So we are honored to have the presence of our keynote speaker today, Professor Saman Senavira, the chairman of the National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka. So I may now welcome Professor Kapila Kandawala to the podium to introduce Professor Senavira to the audience.
Thank you, Amanda. Good morning, distinguished guests, fellow scientists, and my colleagues. It's my great honor and privilege to welcome Professor Saman Senavira, who is gracing the InCAPM 2025 conference as our keynote speaker. I first met Professor Saman Senavira 30 years ago, back in 1990, when we were both undergraduates and working at the Institute of Fundamental Studies as undergraduate research associates. At that time, the eminent professor, Professor Cyril Ponnamperuma, was the director of the IFS. Then in 2018, Professor Senavira returned to IFS as the director and a senior research professor. A full circle of movement in an extraordinary career. So today, we have the distinct pleasure of hearing from someone whose contributions have not only inspired us locally, but have also made a significant international impact. He has been recognized globally and ranked among the top 2% scientists in the world. Professor Senavira holds a BSc in Agricultural Science from the University of Ruhuna and a PhD in Plant Physiology from the University of Western Sydney, Australia. His academic and research journey has spanned multiple countries and prestigious institutes, including the University of Melbourne and Western Sydney University, Australia, Tohoku University, Japan, and University of Illinois at Chicago, USA. As a prolific researcher, Professor Senavira has published over 200 scientific papers, including work in Nature and Science. Remarkably, more than 80% of his publications appear in top-tier journals, H-index over 50, and citations over 9,000. His contributions have been recognized with numerous international awards, including the Australian Prime Minister's Award for groundbreaking work in climate change research, prestigious fellowships from the Australian Academy of Science and the Japanese Society for Promotion of Science, the Jack Longeran Plant Nutrition Award from the Plant Nutrition Trust of Australia. With over 30 years of research experience, Professor Senavira has consistently pushed the boundaries of scientific knowledge and challenged conventional thinking. Currently, he serves as the chairman of the National Science Foundation Sri Lanka and also Chair Professor of the Department of Agricultural Engineering and Environmental Technology, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ruhuna. Beyond his scientific accomplishments, Professor Senevira is admired for his interdisciplinary approach, embodying the spirit of curiosity, collaboration, and integrity that fuels scientific discovery. So please join me in extending a warm and heartfelt welcome to our keynote speaker, Professor Saman Senevira.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Professor Yakandawala. I used to call Kapila. We were together 30 years back in the same lab, and I was so pleased to be here. And again, Vice Chancellor, Professor Ujit Jayasinghe, and the Dean, Professor Jagat Idrisinghe, and my good friend, Professor Jeffrey Howe, and Professor Prasanthi Pereira for inviting me to this wonderful gathering. And again, the Vajira Balasuri is, Professor Vajira Balasuri is secretary to the conference. You have done a wonderful job here. And again, I want to really remind my good friend, Dr. Vishwajit Khandegama is my brother here. And it's again very wonderful, and I'm very pleased to see that gathering and coming from all over the world. And Wayamba is doing very well. In fact, this is my first visit to the Wayamba. Wayamba, I always confuse the Wayamba and Subrugama, and is a very beautiful place. And let me more into my presentation. Again, the conference is on agriculture and plantation management, and I think I have a story to tell here, because I'm also agriculture graduate. I've been working in a number of continents in the space of agriculture and climate change, and also it's very directly connected to the bioeconomy. So I will share some of my own experience today. And this is my title of the talk, is Harnessing Genetic and Environmental Interaction for Climate Resilient Agriculture and the Bioeconomy. And so I also I have a couple of hats. One, right now I'm a chairman of the National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka, and also the chair professor of the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ruhuna, and also I'm a professor of the University of Melbourne, Australia. And but right now I'm in Sri Lanka full-time basis. I'm really very pleased to be here again. And as a chairman of the National Science Foundation, we are the major funding body, and we were very lucky this year, able to manage to double our financial budget. And so therefore I will declare here with this great gathering, great scientists, please, we have more opportunity for research. We have more opportunity for groundbreaking research. We have more opportunity for mega projects and programs. So please remember this. With this, I will start with this gentleman. Is Carl Sagan. Is an astrophysicist. Is an astrobiologist. What we said is from the space. I will read out this one. This is very interesting. Look again at that blue pearl in the space. That is the Earth. And that's here, that your home, that's us. On it is everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived or their life. The aggregates of our journey, and joy, suffering, thousands of confident religion, ideologies, economics doctrine, and every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of the civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor, explorer, every teacher of moral, every aspiring politician, every super leaders, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived here on the mood of dust suspended in sunbeam. This is what said by the Carl Sagan. I think this is a beautiful place. This is, as far as we know, this is the place we have heard in this type of intelligent living being in the whole universe, what we know of. So we have a beautiful atmosphere. The atmosphere, nitrogen is ideal 78%, the oxygen 20%, and the CO2 is somewhere is 0.3, the 0.42 ppm, and the average temperature is 15 degrees in the Earth atmosphere. But compared to, this is a wonderful place. These are the other thing, Mars. We are trying to go to Mars. We try to do agriculture in Mars, but we have a big problem in the Earth atmosphere. And what we see in the past, due to the climate change, and we can see that our Earth temperature is rapidly increasing. If we see over the 1850 to 1900, you can see how the temperature increases. And in this year, even the last year, is a recorded high temperature in the Earth atmosphere. There was another incident in 2016, the extreme temperatures. This is constantly increasing. We see nearly, it's increasing, we expect to increase 2 to 4 degrees by end of this century. This is if you see this graph, like in the top panel, is a CO2 concentration in the atmosphere is increasing rapidly after the industrial revolution. And beginning, if you look at 1800,000 years, the CO2 concentration was consistently below 300 parts per million. Now it has reached the 425 parts per million today. So, same time, the temperature also changed. This is the consistently, the climate change is driven by the temperature, and is a primary culprit is the CO2. CO2 is the increasing, we don't see any slowdown. And these parameters have a major impact on atmospheric, physical, and biophysical systems. So this is what we are facing today. I just want to share with you, in 1995, in fact 1994, this is my first paper published in a plant physiology. So, but we use CO2 as a tool to understand how plant responds to this future climate. And what I wrote there is the CO2 concentration is somewhere around 350 parts per million. But today, still I continue to work with CO2, but I write 420 parts per, 25 parts per million. And itself is a 25% increase. So we have documented this significant change in the Earth atmosphere. And one thing you remember that the CO2 is a primary substrate for the photosynthesis. Without CO2, the biosphere and the atmosphere link would not exist. So CO2 is important, but we need to manage CO2 in the right level. And so this is where my whole research focus on nearly 35 years. And we know the photosynthesis when CO2 is increases, and we know population from the time of the Green Revolution, the increase by 2.6-fold, and also the yield, cereal yield increased by 3.1-fold, and if you see the land use, that was largely unchanged. So there is an issue for us right now. And the cereal production, if we see in the right panel, is a start to plateau. Not only Sri Lanka, it's around globally. This is one of the global issue. And he's the gentleman who changed around when there was the big shortage of food in the 1950s and 60s. He's the one who brought the pure breeding technology, the deep breeding technology, nitrogen use efficiency, stunted growth, those genes responsible for the yield and the biomass production and brought into the breeding program, and through which he was able to help to increase the yield potential of rice, initially wheat, and then adapted to rice and adapted to other crops as well. So he's a Norman Bolek. He's the one who changed the whole world at that time, and it was instrumental. He is making the world getting out of the starvation. And for us, the future is by 2050, there will be a 9.7 billion people. It's an additional nearly 2 billion people to feed. And the climate change is now very obvious. We have soil degradation, extreme weathers, and also change of the growing seasons, etc. And crop yield, when you put together all these things, the crop yield going to be reduced at least by 10 to 25%. And there are a lot of vulnerable places, like especially in the tropical latitude, and the places like Africa are very sensitive and very vulnerable to the climate change. And so therefore, is urgent action, urgent need to design and develop the climate resilient agriculture. Perhaps I think it's a high time to go for develop a second green revolution. The second green revolution is not simple like a 2-gene concept. It is a multidisciplinary, the concepts need to come into play. We all need to play a big part in this game. And this is what kind of I see as a second green revolution is improving the food production using biotechnology and the genetic engineering, the AI modeling, and also robotic, and addressing bringing all of the technology together. And this thing, I'm sure that if you bring this together, I think we need to think, my title also said, is optimizing the biology, at the same time optimizing the environment. These two, if you put together, if you optimize, there is a great potential to increase the food production and equally to improve the food and nutrient security around the world. And the quickly, as I said in a green revolution, the first green revolution was around very much the breeding, but the second green revolution is very much not only breeding, is a whole thing is around technology. And so my work, as I said, I will touch mostly is my work here because I was working on the CO2 and how we can want to establish how CO2 work on the biosphere and the plant system, and also develop adaptation strategies to change of the climate. And the CO2 is again the greenhouse gases and also is a substrate for the photosynthesis. Therefore, understanding of this, the impact is very essential in the long term to develop adaptation strategies. And my key questions I ask all the way in my research is how does elevated CO2 influence the physiology? This is the basics of everything, the functionality, genetics, genomics, level response, etc. And what are the implications for crop yield and productivity? This is a very agronomic space work and food security, etc. And assessing the nutritional properties and how this change on the future climate. And then can we enhance the plant resilience to elevated CO2? Because there are a lot of, not only CO2, there is a temperature effect. Temperature effect override the CO2 effect. And therefore, how we can tackle this issue? and what are the broad impact on the food security, and how we can address some of these changes in grain yield and quality under climate change. Two mitigation strategies, what we can do. Just simply, I'll share some of my own experience here, what I have established. And before go into anything, I think we are not very familiar with this space, and the reason why is that we don't have because it's very costly, this experiment, and and very limited resources here. And most of the work I have done this in outside in the US or Japan or Australia, and we used to do something simple, and we also can do is in a growth chamber, is a control systems. And also there are experiment model. You can create a pre-air CO2 enrichment facility. You can create the future climate in the field. So that means there is very much the future climate is very similar to what we're going to experience in the future. And then there is a new other system called open top chambers and temperature manipulation experiments and drought and water simulation experiments and combined experiments, etc. There are multiple experimental systems to investigate and test those hypotheses. And quickly, this is some of the experiment I use in my different projects and researches. And so some did in a enclosed system, some we did in the glass houses, and some we did it in the field. You can see in the right side here, this is a field experiment. Like we develop a field exposure facilities. And again, in the middle, you can see the open top chamber. You can put the whole canopy, whole plant into the system, and we can study this whole system, how it responds to the future climate. I'm not going to go into detail. This is a very complicated, very expensive. Running one of these experiments in the field, at least you need 1 year. CO2 cost maybe somewhere around $2 to $3 million US dollars. And this is one of the experiments I was operating in Australia. And this is how the 5-hectare block, and we were able to create the future climate in a multiple location with the multiple factors, temperature, water, nitrogen, etc. And so we can see in the right side how those locations are. This is the very big engineering project. This is how we transport CO2 into the field. In a one time, we need 60 to 70 tons of CO2 for 2 weeks. We transport like this. It's the whole thing is automated, and this is how we do this type of experiment. It's again very costly. And the fundamentals is very important for anything. I think the fundamental together application science is very important to develop adaptation. So this is the fundamental. When plant put into the high CO2, when plant experience high CO2, you can clearly see in the right side, the photosynthetic rates increase at an acceleration rate and start to decline, then start to settle down. So with the dotted dark lines are plants grown at elevated CO2. When plant exposed to elevated CO2 at an early development stage, they maintain high photosynthetic rates. And if you can see the bottom 2 lines, that plants grow on the extended period, so then the plant lose the responsiveness to CO2. This is very important for modeling, the food security, the modeling and global modeling, etc. This is very important. This is the fundamental information we generate from that simple, the field experiments. And when we go into the inside the cell, the primary enzyme that require for the photosynthesis, that conversion taken place, CO2 into the carbohydrate, is by rubisco, we call rubisco rubulose 1,5-bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase. So this is the most abundant enzyme on the earth. And we had manipulate this enzyme, whether this this acclimation occur due to the adjustment on the enzyme. No, because this is we a genetically engineered rice to have half of the rubisco, you can see is still the plant acclimate to the CO2. This is some very good information we generated from this one. And then when we look at the rubisco the roughly the global CO2 emission is 37 billion metric tons annually. And the total rubisco content in the earth is 70 to 80 billion metric tons. This is the enzyme. And this is the only enzyme that converts carbon into the carbohydrate or other intermediates. So we have this much. And if we have 1 kilogram of rubisco enzyme, that can fix the 2,523 kilogram CO2 in a year. This is very interesting. If you want to achieve a net zero, the world, you need to have additional rubisco 14.7 billion metric tons of. This is a simple calculation. I just want to let you know how this is important, how plant, what kind of a role play in terms of the adapting to the climate change. I think the biology is the key to adapt to the climate change, and therefore the bioeconomy is a very important, play a big role. We need to capitalize this thing to convert this into the bioeconomy. This is where the easiest pathway to go to net zero. And so other fundamental area that we all need to understand, this is again we publish, we submitted this work, is stomatal conductors. A lot of biology, the researchers, students, the stomata. When CO2 concentration goes up in the atmosphere, this is, you can see my left side panel is a stomatal conductance, other right side is the photosynthesis. Again, we pull all the data, published data, and analyze using a meta-analysis. And we can see stomatal conductance reduce. It means that the stomata size become smaller. It means transpiration decrease, and through which improve the plant water use efficiency. This is not for one plant. This is the whole earth, all the plants on the earth. So regardless of the biochemistry, C3 or C4 or Chem, this reduction is there. So there is a good signal that in the future will be the plants having acquired the better water use efficiency. So this is, I want to say, the mechanism is still need to be established. So again, the photosynthesis increase, that benefit also we get. The CO2, there is as I said, is a double-edged sword, and there is a good things. Right now, we don't see CO2 slowing down, CO2 concentration increase, but the CO2 is a substrate. We need to look at capitalize that CO2 in the meantime. And other area of the interest is the sea temperature and the CO2 interaction. So when the CO2, you can see this graph, and the 3 different photosynthesis under 3 different conditions under different temperature regimes. When temperature goes up, the potential photosynthesis also decreases. This is what in the future climate, the temperature will go up, CO2 also the plant gets CO2 advantage, but because of the temperature, that advantage overrides. So this is, I think, this is something we need to capture for all the modeling exercise what we do today, and whoever want to do. This fundamental understanding is very essential to really accurately predict the global food production and food security and nutrient security. So we establish the cellular function in the whole plant level response. You can see this work again we publish as a review paper by putting all our data together. So initially the photosynthesis increased and the carbon availability increased, and they change the carbon and nitrogen metabolism, and then they promote the cell division, cell expansion, cell proliferation, and also there is alteration of stomatal physiology. This helped to grow plant better under only high CO2 conditions. So, and the conclusion what we made from this thing is the photosynthesis increase at least 5 to 30% under future climate if the temperature rise is not there. And the CO2 availability enhance the photosynthesis in C3 biochemistry especially, but not C4 plants having C4 biochemistry. And also the stomatal conductants play a big role regardless of the biochemistry, promote the water use efficiency. This all are beneficial. We have not capture into our plant breeding program these traits, especially the climate traits into the breeding program. So we all interest the biomass and yield. This is the final thing you end up. This this is again with rice, because all the work mostly rice and wheat. I was overseas. I had a chance to do rice, and mostly I had wheat because there where all the funding was available. This is in Japan. This experiment. What we see again, you can see under the yellow bars are plants grown under future climate and the phase condition. You can see the large increase in the yield. It's a significant, and its increment is much better in high nitrogen backgrounds. And we also studied there is an interaction with the soil nitrogen application. And this is what I said, the interaction between the temperature and the CO2. You can clearly see the first thing is ambient temperature here. So this is when the temperature increased by 4 degrees, and the CO2 concentration, this is no increment, is ambient, and 200 ppm above and 300 ppm above. What we can see, the 3 different years, you can see the yield increment is very significant against the CO2. But if you compare here, so 4 degrees over, there is no stimulation in yield. This is the problem. This is what we need to capture it all. This is the lethal. Not the CO2 itself is lethal. When CO2, the temperature is lethal at least in this atmosphere. And good news is that there is a biological variation in response. Some species do respond well to future climate, especially CO2s. This is again wheat varieties, a couple of wheat varieties, mostly international, and the left figure shows that the plants grown at a future in the field condition. Other one is a control condition, but still we can see the large increment of the grain yield in these varieties. And the main message is that there is a genetic variability in response to the CO2. And the interesting is, so we were looking at, can we capture this genetic variability? Is there very specific traits to take into the plant breeding program? And using a double haploid population, wheat population, we call Kikuri, and it's very Australian, and we look at this thing, and we map all the QTLs, and what we see is there is like a 3 major CS. We identified 3 major CO2 responsive QTLs in a dry mass and yield associated. So now my team is following up and taking these traits into the next generation breeding program. And so this is something, like a CO2. I think this is a very first work, this type of work in the world. And I think I'm encouraging people who are interested to work on this one and to get at least CO2 into our breeding program. This is a primary substrate. This is the fertilizer. We have overlooked this thing. And when we put all the numbers together, so this is how the food security going to be in another in a 2050 and 2080, and there will be a large impact, and the is primarily driven by the temperature, and the temperature, like you can see in four different scenarios, and the cereal production this is world cereal production, so the 10 to 5, around 10 to 60% is there will be reduced if we don't take a drastic initiative. And the main message from this work is that the biomass increase and the yield increase, and there is a large genetic variability. There's opportunity for breeding, opportunity for marker-assisted breeding, and there is other technology also can be bring into capture the CO2, and we also need to further understand of the CO2 and temperature interaction in a detailed understanding is very essential. And the other component, like we all talk about in the food security, but nobody is very hard to hear about the nutrient security. Our 70% of the nutrients in our diet is coming from the cereals and pulses. So what happened under high CO2 and the climate change? The plants biochemistry change, and the plant carbon and nitrogen metabolism change, and so some of the nitrogen get diluted because of the carbohydrate, excess carbohydrate, and also there is the whole assimilatory mechanisms change, like a nitrogen assimilation. So they favor more nitrate assimilation than ammonia assimilation, etc. So the whole change of carbon and nitrogen biochemistry impact on the grain quality. This is where, the interesting part. This is what actually totally neglected to tackle this issue. I will share a couple of my own experience. This is again the first report in the world that we said the future going to be food security being challenged by the climate change. And again, this is 1996, I think, around, and 1995. And if we look at now, the whole world population is 9 billion people suffering from something or other nutrient deficiency. Among them, iron deficiency is the biggest. And the second, zinc deficiency, and iodine deficiency, and the vitamin deficiency, etc. So this is a we call hidden hunger. And a lot of people dying because of this deficiency. And I will pick up two stories, two strategies that we establish and we develop, and adaptation strategies. Is the one thing about protein. The protein, as you know, is a very essential nutrient for growth, the body cells repairing and DNA repairing, and the maintenance of tissues, and critical for enzyme production, hormone regulation, and immune functions, etc. I'm not going to go for all the details, but most, again, as I said, 70% of the protein in our diet is coming from cereals and pulses. The climate change impact on all our cereals and pulses. So, in the wheat case, I take, for example, I'm not going to go into detail because this is the big story, and is gliadin and glutamine is a main protein, is very important for nutrition as well as the rheology of the bread quality. And what we see here when you put plants in the future climate, again we use here as a nitrogen equivalent, and again meta-analysis, all the published work we pull together, and using meta-analysis we look at what is the trend. What we see in rice, this is again a large reduction in the protein concentration, and also wheat, there is a big reduction in the protein content, but not in the soybean, and corn too, there was a certain degree of reduction in the protein concentration. So this is a global issue. This we have used, you can see, 280 experiment data, is all the data published on the world. So this is the trend. And what we we look at very closely in the grain, so again this rice varieties, the Chinese, Japanese, Australian, and we put into the field and we investigate how these varieties behave. All the varieties, what we could see is the reduction of the protein concentration under future climate. But good news is that there is a certain degree of genetic variability. And when come to the protein, I will see this is again around 2014, and at that time this is the technology was around, this is a gel using the mass spec. We can look at how brain proteome change under future climate. And what we see is the gluten protein is a very important for the rheological characteristic of the bread. And also the important is it presents a large quantity. It is also in the nutrition is substantially decreased because it's a lot of data I put here is especially pick up gluten protein, and it's very important for the nutritional point of view. And when come to the rheological properties, this is again the bread made from the flour you came from the plants in the future climate, and one is a ACO2 is an ambient normal grown plant, other one is a future climate grown plant, the flour, and we made bread. This is the bread looks like. It's a bread going to be, we don't get that rheological characteristics. Bread is not a big story for us, but the rest of the world is a big story because the flour rheological characters completely drive all the marketing and everything. There is a big research program we are handling to correct this issue. And this is a very important, and we are looking at the one thing is a breeding line, and also we're developing an agronomical intervention. And on this basis, for anything, we need to understand the fundamental mechanism. When we see closely, this is again how plant, the protein, for synthesized protein, you need to have nitrogen need to take up. And what we did was, we observed that there is a nitrogen assimilatory biology change under future climate, because the nitrogen usually taken from two pathways. One is a nitrate assimilatory process, other one is an ammonia assimilatory process. So when we take wheat and rice, all the plant have these pathways. And so nitrate, when you see the nitrate assimilation is being inhibited under CO2, and we really design our nitrogen requirement around two, a nitrate and ammonia pathway, developing around changing the requirement, nitrate and ammonia according to requirements. So what we using a label N15, you can see if we have nitrogen using a nitrate and ammonia, we were able to address that issue. We were able to develop the grain with the same protein concentration, because assimilatory process is a no change when we change around the source of the nitrogen. On the base of this this information, actually this is we learned from this one. So we also understood that we can also improve the nitrogen use efficiency of the plant through this process. We were working on developing a nano fertilizer to tackle this work we done in Sri Lanka, and so my team also involved with the Professor Yakadawala, Professor Mrs. Yakadawala, and also a couple of students and a couple of teams, and we were successfully develop a new nano hybrid fertilizer. This is a very successful story, and still we have not commercialized or fully patented. We are working on the patenting, and so we can tackle this issue. Not only this issue, that we can also we can improve the nitrogen use efficiency of the many other crops. And the finding from this one is elevated CO2 reduce, as said, is a great protein. And we also were able to intervene and develop a new, we established the mechanism how we reduce around the nitrogen and protein, and also we develop like intervention, like a new technology to tackle the global, the nitrogen reduction issue, protein reduction issue, and same time improve the nitrogen use efficiency in a broad cropping systems. So I will pick up my second story is that the zinc. The zinc also very important nutrient and is vital for DNA synthesis and immune function, and also support the growth and development during pregnancy, childhood, and adolescence. And again, it is one of the key enzyme, essential enzyme for more than 300 enzymes in our system, human system. And the zinc deficiency affect 2 billion people worldwide, and the deficiency linked to really nearly 63 million people annually. This is a big issue. That's why we call hidden hunger. Not many people know here also it's happening. And the zinc usually getting from the soil, and our lot of soils is heavily depleted because we did not have any soil supplementation system. Now I think is introduced, but also plant breeding program. Over the years, there was no target for quality. Now they are picking up around the world. We want to increase the micronutrient, other vitamin density, etc. On top of that one, the CO2, the climate change have an impact on the whole ionome biochemistry of the grain. So this is a big challenge, and we're also looking at how to correct this issue. And to correct this issue, we need to understand the fundamental mechanism, how zinc taken up, and so I'll quickly go, and taken up and transport and loading into grain. I just want to show you how this error happened. I think the breeders can understand very well this thing, and you can see this is some of the seed archive is taken from the Rotham Agriculture Experiment Station in UK, and they had a big archive, and since the archive goes back to 1800, and when they grow in the current atmosphere, we can see the yield is no change, but after the material generate after the Green Revolution, you can see the yield increase. And the same time, zinc concentration, if you see, after the Green Revolution, the whole zinc and also iron and also copper and also manganese, because this is a couple of things we have taken, the trend is same. It's one thing is that we focus on the increase in the carbohydrate concentration. We have not looked at the micronutrient. It says one could be the dilution of the all micronutrient. So this is very high time because we eat, everybody on the earth, we eat our meal, at least 50% is cereals and pulses. But most of the nutrients need to come from those things, and it's already been heavily depleted. And it is high time to correct. When it comes to the climate change, again, the first story that we said the future food going to be less nutritious. And also we said, I pick up on the zinc. Zinc is substantially decreased in the grain. And the reduction is due to the transport issue. This is a very old story, like I told. And then we published this work in Nature very recently. We collect in my own experiments together, and we publish this data in the Nature. And what we said, this is what going to be in the future, the food quality, especially cereal quality, zinc, iron, and manganese is substantially decreased. Quickly, this is the case for iron and zinc in rice. This is and also wheat as well. And there is this is a kind of a global like an impact, those nutrition, and especially how depleted those nutrients. I'm not going to go into detail because the time looks running out. And the finding is that what I want to say is zinc concentration in cereals is substantially increased, nearly 5 to 15%, and there is a global malnutrition is increasing, and we need the integrated solution. And the solution is we can go the biofortification, 3 pathways. The one is biofortification, and one is a biofortification pathway. Other one is a physical fortification, and also you can go to genetic fortification. I will share a little bit of the biofortification pathway, and genetically there is a large diversity of zinc concentration in the grain. And you can see the right side, how most of the zinc sitting outside the grain and mostly near the embryonic region and outer endosperm and mostly aileron layer. And the transport system is most affected and under future climate. And these genes are the central genes that transport involved in zinc transport. And this is something we very recently done this experiment and published is the key mechanism is lying into the zinc loading is sitting within the grain. As I said, I don't have a lot of time to go into detail. It is in the crease area. There is an area called crease area in the grain, and some of the nutrients is being, like especially zinc is transported in the grain is controlled at the crease area. So we have identified the key genes as well. Now we are working on using a genetics tool to increase the zinc, get the more zinc into the inner endosperm of the grain. And these are the key genes involved, and I will quickly go through. These are the tools what we use to correct this grain, the future grain. We use the phenotyping, genotyping, transcriptomic, proteomic, and metabolomics, and also bioinformatics tools all to fix this issue, and we have established the fundamental mechanism. Now we are in the process of correcting this one. And quickly, I want to touch, maybe I'll take a couple of minutes to touch Sri Lankan context. Sri Lanka, I always see it's a natural laboratory. We have a 50 plus microclimate system, and we have a big, like 65,000 square kilometers, and the population nearly 25% directly or indirectly involved in the agriculture. Is a very potential land. And on top of that one, climate, we are in a hot spot in terms of the climate change. We have all kind of issues popping up, and the mostly is like intensive rainfall and floods and high temperature, the peaks, and those are the warm days, etc. is becoming more and more, and we have a multiple challenge than other countries. And when we look at the yield of the Sri Lankan, like most of the cereal have settled. It's like a we reach and rice if you take 4.5 tons per hectare, but usually we should see this increment. When you see this one, this is one of the fundamental problem we have now. We have to really look at what is this thing and how to address this one, because the climate change overpower this thing. So when really come to play, then we have multiple, it's a very challenge about the food security. And what I share with you, this is for example I share, I have seen a lot of, China produced nearly 30% of world rice, and their hybrid rice yield potential is somewhere around 10 tons per hectare, like we have is 4.5 tons per hectare, and their target is 18 tons per hectare per kilogram, and they have already proven. And what I say is that biological potential is 20 tons in rice. So they have developed their idiotype, to fit into the environment. And so we also need to work around. And for example, if you can improve, this is not a one thing, this cannot do only breeders. We need all the technologies need to sit together. If we sit together, we can do this one. And if we increase 1 ton per hectare, so that will be close to $1 billion for those community, for the farming community. This is the biggest, like a catalyst to uplift the economy of this country. I think if there is a possibility, I think this is a collective effort. This only agriculture department cannot do, only university cannot do. I think we whole country need to congregate together to tackle this issue. So if only then we can do this change. And what I see, we miss some technology. I don't know why. The reason perhaps, the leaderships and all these things. But, we are still you're using first generation classical breeding tools. And the second generation mark assisted selection is happening, is happening, but it's not the large scale. And third generation genomic selection, fourth generation gene editing, CRISPR-Cas9, they use other part. And synthetic biology and advanced gene editing, this is what all the other part of the world use. So those are the things I think we need to take an additional responsibility to tackle this issue. And when come to I always go, both need to optimize, G and E. These are the E space, precision agriculture and also the modeling and the robotics and AI and all. A lot of big data, those things need to come into together. I think if we all disciplines sit together, I'm sure that we can make a second green revolution here. Okay, I quickly go, time is running out. I really want to acknowledge my funding support, most of the work done outside, and Australia, Japan, Sri Lanka, China, United States, and Iran, some of the Iranian work. And then these are my collaborators, and quickly some of my local collaborators are here. And again, I will go through quickly, I will stop. Again, thank you very much. I have taken a couple of minutes more because I want to tell the last story. This is very important for this country. Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir, for your interesting story today, and also for sharing your valuable research findings with us with this valuable gathering. And we wish you and your team a lot more success in future research findings. And with that, it's time to appreciate our esteemed guests today, their gracious presence. And for that, now I may invite the chair of the conference, Professor Prasanthi Pereira, to present the tokens of appreciations to our esteemed guests. We now cordially invite our chief guest, the Senior Professor Udit Jayasinghe, the Vice Chancellor of Wayamba University of Sri Lanka, to receive the token of appreciation. Our next invitation goes to Professor Saman Senavira, the Chairman of the National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka. Let me now invite Professor Gefei Hao, Director of China-Sri Lanka Belt and Road International Collaboration on Green Plant Protection. And my next invitation goes to Professor Jagat Ediri Singha, the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management. Thank you very much, Madam and dear sirs. And with that, we have come to the latter part of our occasion, the inauguration ceremony. To conclude the inaugural session, I now call upon Professor Vajra Balasurya, the Conference Secretary, to deliver the word of thanks.
Good morning to all of you. The Vice Chancellor, Wayamba University of Sri Lanka, the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management, the Chair of the conference, Professor Saman Senavira, Professor Hefe Hao, colleagues and all participants. It's both my pleasure and honor to deliver the vote of thanks at the end of this inspiring inaugural session of InCAPM 2025 and at the beginning of the technical sessions. As Conference Secretary, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all who have contributed to this event, which will be a grand success at the end of the day. Firstly, I sincerely thank our Chief Guest, Senior Professor Udit Jayasinghe, Vice Chancellor of Wayamba University of Sri Lanka. Your gracious presence and encouraging words have set a strong foundation for the conference. Thank you very much, sir. Our profound thanks go to Professor Saman Senavira, Chairman of the National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka, for your enlightening keynote address that offered valuable insights on climate resilience and innovation in agriculture, including your great research experiences, also highlighting the Green Revolution, second one and the first one. Thank you very much for your great speech. We are deeply honored by the presence of the Professor Hefe Hao, the Director, Belt and Road Collaboration of the Green Plant Protection Joint Laboratory in the Gaisho University. Your participation reaffirms the valuable partnership and cooperation between our countries in advancing agricultural research and sustainable development. Thank you, sir. He is the plenary speaker of the conference. There will be the plenary speech after the lunch. I would also like to express appreciation to Professor Prasanthi Pereira, conference chair, for her vision, commitment, and guidance in organizing InCAPM 2025 successfully. Also, I would like to extend sincere appreciation to Professor Jagat Ediri Singha, the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management, for your visionary leadership and unwavering support in organizing this prestigious event. Both of your continuous guidance has made this conference possible. Thank you, sir, and both of you. We sincerely appreciate the generous collaboration and funding support from our co-host universities, Gaisho University and Central China Normal University. Your partnership has enriched this event with international expertise and resources, and it exemplifies the power of global cooperation in addressing agricultural challenges. We are also grateful to the sponsor companies from our country, also the external degree programs from our faculty, whose valuable contributions have played a crucial role in supporting various aspects of this conference. I would like to recall and appreciate for the contributions by the number of visiting Chinese professors in the pre-conference workshop on green plant protection held on yesterday. Thank you very much for all your contributions. We also take this opportunity to extend our appreciation in advance to the thematic speakers, session panelists, and presenting authors whose contributions will soon enrich the upcoming technical sessions. We look forward to your insights, innovations, and meaningful discussions as we continue with the core academic program of InCAPM 2025. There are participants from many countries, including our neighboring country, India, Pakistan, as well as China, Philippines, and Uganda, and other countries. We appreciate all of your presence, which add color to our conference, as well as there are participants from all the universities and research institutes from our country. Thank you very much for your participation. There are several former senior academics of the faculty who accepted our invitation to support as speakers, panel members. Thank you very much, sirs and madams, for your support as always. Also, I would like to thank the participations of university administrative officers, especially the council members in this occasion. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and participation. We also extend our sincere thanks to the reviewers of abstracts for their careful evaluation and valuable feedback, which help uphold the academic quality of the conference. I sincerely thank the subcommittees led by Dr. Kusum Vijayasinghe, Logistics, Dr. Janaka Vikramasinghe, and Mr. Virajit Purappu, Hospitality and Inauguration, Dr. D.R. Gimhani, Registration and Program, Dr. Chandran Jatilaka, and Mr. Amaduru, Technical and Audio Visual, and the Scientific Committee led by me with Dr. Mewan Puragoda in editorial publication. And their dedicated efforts in ensuring the smooth running of this conference. Their teamwork and commitment alongside all committee members have been invaluable in making InCAPM 2025 a success. We extend our special appreciation to Dr. Vishwajit Kandegama, in charge of the Finance and International Participation Committee, for his significant contribution in strengthening international collaboration and successfully securing vital funding support for the conference. At the same time, the members of the scientific committee, Dr. Mewan Kuragoda, Dr. Geethi Pamunua, Dr. Menuka Udugama, Dr. Irande Vijayasinghe, Dr. Janaka Vikramasinghe, Ms. Amanda Bandara, are greatly appreciated for their contribution in the committee for the publication. We extend the appreciation to all the heads of the 5 departments of our faculty for their support in the conference in numerous ways. I would also like to extend our sincere appreciation to the Registrar and Bursar of Wayamba University of Sri Lanka, as well as the Assistant Registrar of the Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management and their respective staff for their invaluable administrative support and coordination, which greatly contributed to the successful organization of InCAPM 2025. Finally, I thank all academic staff, non-academic staff, students, alumni, and volunteers whose hard work and seamless coordination have ensured the smooth running of the event. While we are unable to mention all individual contributors by name, we sincerely acknowledge and appreciate every effort and apologize if any name has been unintentionally omitted. Let us take the knowledge, collaboration, and inspiration from this conference forward into our respective fields and continue to work together towards a sustainable and prosperous agricultural future. Think big in agriculture for boosting bioeconomy. Thank you very much. I wish you all successful and productive continuation of InCAPM 2025.